Good morning and welcome to Inside Texoma. And today I'm joined by Ashley Thomas, who is the Communications Officer for the WFISD. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
Well, Election Day is almost here. Early voting already underway. Of course, one of the biggest items in this election is the bond. So we're going to take an inside look at the bond today. Ashley, tell us a little bit about what is in this bond.
Well, this bond is consists of $63.5 million worth of projects. The district is going to put forth $4 million from the general fund in order to bring the cost to $59.5 million. The main component of the bond is a career and technical education center that would be approximately $35 million of the bond. And then the next biggest part is going to be some additions and renovations to all 3 of our junior high schools. And then we also have $500,000 set aside for technology and infrastructure updates, and then another $500,000 for safety and security, and then about $1.75 million will go toward parking and stadium restroom improvements.
Now, the last attempt to pass a bond did not pass, so when you guys went back to the drawing board and kind of drew up a new bond, what about these areas was most important to get in the bond? Are these areas that the district really needs?
Well, the main thing that we saw coming out of last year's bond was that the community was in favor of a career and technical education center, and so our chamber went out, spoke to members of the community, chamber members, talked to them about what they would most like to see, and the CTE center was an overwhelming majority that people felt like that was definitely needed in Wichita Falls, not only for our students but also for our community to help our local economy. And so basically this bond just puts out those things that we know that the community or feel like the community can get behind. A CTE center and safety and security, technology, all things that will be a positive benefit to our district.
Now, you mentioned that price tag there. Tell us a little bit about how that's going to be paid for. I know people obviously concerned about how their tax rates are going to be affected.
Sure. On an average home, $100,000 is an average home price in Wichita Falls. That would come out to about $7 per month. Right now, WFISD is at a $1.13 tax rate, which is the lowest of any district in this area. But even if the bond passes, it would go up to approximately $1.22, which would still be the lowest tax rate of any district in Wichita County. So it's relatively inexpensive, $7 a month on a $100,000 home, and the tax rate is going to still be the lowest in the area. So it's a good deal, I think.
So they're the most reasonable numbers you guys could come up with, I'm imagining.
Yes, and it's about half the price of last year's bond, so we were able to put forth the most important things and still keep the price tag low.
What has this process been like, just putting this bond together and building all these presentations? Well,
administration has been working very close with the WFISD Board of Trustees for the past year. I mean, since the last bond, just trying to look at what we could do different the next time around, and then also working closely with the chamber, local businesses, industry, just to see what's going to be the most needed in our community and what students need to learn to be able to get a job here in Wichita Falls and help our local economy while helping students be ready for college or to go into the workforce.
Now, if this bond does pass, what's the timeline here for getting these things up and running?
You know, it's really going to vary just depending on construction and things like that, but the goal is to be in 2 years. So I believe that would be the 2017-2018 school year would be the goal for the CTE Center.
Well, you guys have certainly put a lot of work into this bond. We're going to delve even deeper into what we've just talked about, the Career and Tech Center, and all of those other items. That's coming up next on Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. We're looking inside the bond today for the WFISD. I'm joined by Mike Kurt, who is the current Associate Superintendent, perhaps soon the Interim Superintendent. We're talking about the bond. The biggest item here is the Career and Tech Center. Tell us a little bit about what this is going to do.
Well, the Career and Tech Center is a growth, I guess, out of House Bill 5, out of the need across the state for us to produce a workforce that is ready, able, and willing to enter our Texas economy right out of high school. Also to prepare them for college. We've done a pretty good job the last, say, 20 or so years preparing kids for college and getting college going rates up. But we also know a large section of our student body chooses not to go to college. And so therefore we want them to all be prepared for something when they leave. We don't care what it is, whether it's a trade technical school, whether it's to enter the workforce right out, whether it's to enter the military. And we want them prepared for something. So the CTE Center is kind of a culmination, I guess, of all of those. And it's an opportunity for our students to work in a high-tech, learn in a high-tech facility, and at the same time getting real-world skills, certifications when they leave, and so that way whenever they graduate, they're prepared to either continue their education or go right into the workforce.
Now you mentioned House Bill 5. What exactly does that mandate for you as a school district?
So House Bill 5 changes our current 4x4 curriculum, which are sophomores on up, this year's sophomores on up, are under that plan. Current freshmen and below will all be on what we call the endorsement plan. The endorsement plan is made up of 5 endorsements: STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math; business and industry; arts and humanities; public sector; and a multidisciplinary endorsement. And so students, freshmen on down, will be required to choose an endorsement upon graduation that makes them college or career ready. And therefore districts are required to offer at least one endorsement. In WFISD, we've decided to offer all 5 because we know that there's workforce opportunities and career opportunities for students on all of these. And so House Bill 5 allows us, through flexibility and schedule, their students, current high school students, have about 5 or 6 electives throughout their high school career. Freshmen on down, the new endorsement plan allows students 10 electives throughout their high school career, where they can still be involved in athletics, they can still be involved in fine arts, and they can work on a career path or try different career paths. You're not locked into one. We want you to try different ones and see what you like or don't like. And so if I'm a student and I want to be an engineer, and I take a couple engineering classes in high school and go, oh, maybe that's not for me, I really like the finance aspect of it. Well, I switch over to a business type track, and I work on that as I work towards my high school diploma. And then I'm prepared because I know what that's like whenever I get to college. So House Bill 5 really gives us a lot of flexibility to help students, and more so, we're helping parents with their goals for their kids. And so a lot of it's going to be, it has been for us at least, parent education.
And now what career paths are going to be offered at the Career and Tech Center should it come to be?
Yes. All of our current CTE offerings that we have, auto tech, collision repair, construction, certified nursing assistant, those type programs will be at the CTE Center, but then we're adding new ones: internet networking, programming, culinary arts. We have a potential partnership with the civilian contractor out at the Air Force Base, Dynacorp, for aircraft technicians, and so that's a pretty exciting opportunity for us. We're going to expand our certified nursing assistant program and basically into a 3-pronged deal. Students can still get a CNA certification, and then we're also adding an EMT certification and a biotechnology path that students can choose. And so because we know in our area, our 9-county region, healthcare, 5 of the top 10 fastest growing and potential jobs in the next foreseeable future, 10 to 20 years, are in healthcare. And so healthcare is going to be a big push for us. And we already have, based on our current numbers with freshmen and sophomores signing up, lots of students interested in that. And then additionally, with culinary arts, we know that our #1 job growth and job potential for the future is in retail restaurant management. And so not necessarily the 5-star chef aspect of that, but the restaurant management side of that. So we plan to have a culinary arts program that gives students all the skills they need to be master chefs, but also gives them the skills to run a business and run a restaurant.
And now there are going to be some partnerships with some local colleges, right? Is that correct?
We've had conversations with Vernon College, with MSU, both to offer. what we can offer here or what they have, and we combine. And some courses will be taken at the CTE, some courses on the college campus. It just depends. For instance, machining. Vernon College has a pretty awesome machining program, and we want to partner with them, and to where their facility is not utilized as much during the day. We have students ready for that, and we know that's an industry need in our community. But then at night, they have a program that's pretty full. So combining those efforts with MSU, looking at dual credit opportunities, especially in the medical sciences for our students.
And now there is a proposed location, right? Tell us where that is and why that was chosen.
Yes, the proposed location. So currently the board has an option on a piece of property which is at the intersection of I-44 and Old Iowa Park Road. It's on the northeast, I guess, side of that intersection. And so whenever you're going north on 44 and you make the turnaround to go to Iowa Park Road, all that off to the left towards the softball fields is about an 18-20 acre tract that the district has an option on. Why that was chosen? The school board and what we've heard from our community is we wanted a place that was visible for the public. Driving into town, what do you see? And so coming from both directions, you see that I-44 being our major corridor through town. It was a site that was available, has the size we need, and with that, the size of that track, we can also add on to our facility, our proposed facility. So the potential there is great.
And now the $35 million set aside for this career in tech, that's to build it and for the resources for these classes, because obviously to have these classes you would need special tools.
Yes, we have some tools in our current classrooms that are current and modern tools, and we will use as many of them as possible. But yes, this is the FF&E, the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that goes into this facility is all part of that.
Well, before we talk about the rest of the bond, is there anything else you want the public to know about the Career and Tech Center?
The Career and Tech Center is it's an opportunity for our students. And our large portion of our kids that do not currently have ideas or desires to go to college, we want to prepare them for something. And this gets them job employable skills that upon graduation they're ready to go to work. We also know that a lot of our students that go through CTE programs, as they're going through, they get out in the workforce and they use those CTE skills they have to help put themselves through school. And so I think the opportunities for our kids is great, and this CTE Center would just make that possible for them.
All right, well, while this is at the heart of the bond, there is more to talk about. We're going to talk about what else is in the bond right after this. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. I am once again joined by Associate Superintendent for the WFISD, Mike Kurt. We are talking about the WFISD bond. We've just talked about the Career and Tech Center, but there is a lot more in this bond. Let's talk about what's in there.
Okay. The second largest item is additions and renovations to our junior high campuses. We have a philosophy, along with the House Bill 5 need for a CTE center, and also the endorsements that students can get. We know that our parents need support. Our parents need help in helping their kids make good decisions. So the WFISD mindset is something we're really going to start working on hard next year in our elementary campuses and junior high campuses. Helping students to understand that anything they want to do, they can do. They can accomplish anything. The world's at their fingertips. And you get there through hard work. You get there, you get to that through resiliency. And so our elementaries and junior highs, we want to stress that with our students and help them to understand that. Well, we know the social emotional needs of an elementary student versus a teenager or a pre-teenager. Those are different. And so the junior high additions at Barwise and at McNeil, we will be adding 6th grade wings. We currently have, say, about 1,000 students in a grade level. Of those 1,000 students, 200 of them are 6th graders currently going to either Kirby or Barwise. And so we've made 6th grade work in junior highs for a long time. Well, these additions are going to allow us to have all 1,000 or so of our 6th graders at Barwise, McNeil, and Kirby. So about 400 at each one of Barwise and McNeil, and about 200 or so plus at Kirby. And so those 6th graders will then have opportunities that they don't currently have on elementary campuses. They'll have 4 teachers teaching 4 content areas. They'll have the opportunities to take advanced courses in a particular subject should they want. They'll have opportunities to do pre-athletics or pre-fine arts or things like that that junior high students, and so if this becomes a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade campus, they will now be called middle schools because that's a middle school concept. And so that's I think the next biggest part of this bond, helping our students then 6th, 7th, and 8th grade to really figure out their interest and their plans for themselves, so that way as they leave 8th grade and go to 9th grade, they're prepared to make that decision of, this is, I think, the endorsement I want to pursue. And again, even if that isn't the endorsement, they can change when they get to high school, but we want to help them early so that way they can hopefully take the courses that they want to take.
Okay, so that's the $25 million for the additions and renovations.
Yes.
Now, explain to me safety and security enhancements.
Currently, the district, in our normal budgeting process, we budget about $500,000, maybe a little more per year, and we're systematically going around the district upgrading security, adding cameras, changing entrances to make entrances to our older buildings more secure. And so this is just another $500,000 to speed up that process throughout our district.
And that's probably pretty important with everything that goes on with safety and security at schools, in the media, and the public eye.
It's very important. We want our campuses as secure as possible, and we want our parents to know that when they drop their student off, that we're doing all we can to protect their kids, because that's job one.
So very important there. Now we also have $500,000 for technology infrastructure.
This is a passion of mine. I'm all about technology. We have a 40 classroom digital pilot starting next year, actually 41 classrooms, that will be throughout our district, one-to-one devices in all these classrooms, some iPads, some Chromebooks, some laptops, and that's just such an awesome initiative for us. Well, this year we started getting ready for that. All of our high schools are now wireless. Our junior highs will be wireless probably by the end of this school year, and we still have some elementaries to finish up as far as being completely wireless. And so therefore this finishes that process for us on our elementary campuses. And so the idea of students being able to walk into a completely wireless environment and teachers and to be able to use devices anywhere in the building without hindrance is pretty awesome. So that's engagement. Students get excited when they get to use technology, and we want to make it purposeful and have a plan. And with our 40 classroom pilot, we're going to have a plan. So.
Well, and that prepares them for the future too, to use technology in jobs.
It does. We know we're behind with technology, and our board was very specific when they said we want to do this right. And so 40 classrooms across the district, 20 or so elementary and 20 or so secondary campuses. We're going to have a pretty awesome plan at the end of this pilot year on how we're going to roll out more and more technology to our students.
And finally, $1.75 million for Memorial Stadium. What's going to go on there?
Yes, well, one of the major, I guess, issues that board members have heard over the years is the parking conditions in the driveways at Memorial Stadium, and those are not ideal. That facility is used so much by our community throughout the school year, throughout the year, that we know we have renovations that have to happen. So the main drives throughout the facility are going to be resurfaced, and then the other is restroom upgrades, restroom additions. We're going to bring the restrooms inside Memorial Stadium up to code and modernize those facilities, and we all know that the nice restrooms sure make things a lot better.
Yeah.
So that's important.
That is important. We'll fight a bit in this bond, but all areas you feel are going to be to the benefits of the students. Yes,
this is about students. This bond helps student learning, gives students a facility in which to learn, and brings us up to date with the rest of the state or the nation. These CTE centers, these middle schools, things like that, a lot of places have them. And our students, they don't leave here and just compete with their friends. They're now competing on a worldwide stage. So we're ready for them to start excelling at that.
Well, thanks for breaking that down and explaining that all to us. I know you guys have talked to a lot of people in the community. There's a lot of common questions maybe that you might have. We're going to talk about that right after this break. Welcome back to Inside Texoma as we break down the WFISD bond. I'm now joined by David Farabee from the Friends of the WFISD. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
So we've talked about what's in the bond. Tell me why I should vote for it.
Well, I come at this from a Chamber of Commerce standpoint. As a member of the Chamber of Commerce, I want to see our economy grow. I want more prospects for those who are in the real estate business, more consumers for those that are in the service sector, and most importantly for our industry, I'd like to think that we're preparing the workforce of the future so that a new business may locate here with industrial needs for employees, and we're growing those employees right here at home.
Now, the last bond did not pass. I imagine as you go out and you advocate and you push hard, you hear a lot of common themes from people who are against it. What are you hearing that you might want to address?
The failure of the last bond centered solely on the high school conversation. High schools are not part of this bond issue. What's in this bond issue is something that was wildly popular before, and that is the Career and Technical Education Center. But in addition to the CTE, or Career and Technical Education Center, we're addressing things that we need from a Convention and Visitors Bureau standpoint, such as the parking lot at Memorial Stadium. That's a venue that sees so many people from all of the North Texas and Southern Oklahoma area. And so they'll be witnessing a new parking lot and a facility that's upgraded. So we need these kinds of things from a Chamber of Commerce standpoint.
Now, I imagine you also hear from a lot of people. I know I've heard from a lot of people, why are we going to invest in this when there's a drought? You know, why don't you address that?
I'm very pleased personally. I've served on the City Council before from '89 to 1993, and I'm very impressed with what our city council members as well as city administration have done in order to prepare us. And then with the recent rains that we've had, I think the water issue is not one that someone should lean on. With regard to do we need to invest this money? The school district, the school board specifically, has done a phenomenal job at structuring their debt payoff that they've done recently, creating a capacity for this to be paid for without anyone seeing much of a tax increase compared to what we've seen in 2013 or 2014. So all in all, they've been very financially sound. From a Chamber of Commerce standpoint, you want efficiency. They've done this in a way that is efficient. And now the Chamber of Commerce will work with the school board and the school district to create our own jobs, our own employees here at home through the Career and Technical Education Facility. This is good for business.
And something that people maybe don't understand as well, where this money comes from, this really can only be used for this. It can't be used for other projects in the city, because I hear people say, why should we spend money on a bond when we could spend it on other projects? This is money that can only be used for the school, right?
Correct, and specifically for these projects. This is for primarily the Career and Technical Education Center, but in addition to that, making those needed upgrades on our middle schools, and then also providing safety and security for our students. And then finally, what we had talked about, the technology, which is very much a part of the workforce of the future. We need to provide that technology for all of our students as early as possible. The school district is doing that. This bond issue is small, and it's just right, and people should support it.
Now, are you optimistic going into the voting?
I am. We've done a lot of work on this. You know, there was a poll that was done on the heels of the last bond issue not passing. The Chamber of Commerce put out a poll and said, what do you want? And the members of the Chamber of Commerce came back and said, overwhelmingly, the Career and Technical Education Center. So this is the response from the school board, just this, and so they've answered that. And in addition to that, trying to take care of the Memorial Stadium issue from a Convention and Visitors Bureau standpoint. This seems like the sound thing to do to create jobs and bring employers here.
And it seems as though the school's really been working hard to get out in the community and answer questions, right?
Certainly, so I'm feeling favorable, but it is important that people always vote, any election, whether they're for it or against it. That's important that they participate out of respect for the men and women who have paid the ultimate price.
Well, early voting has been underway since this past Monday, but you have 2 more days to vote early, May 4th and 5th. A couple locations you can do that, right?
Correct. Home Depot, at Sykes Center, and Memorial Auditorium.
Okay, so you can do that 2 more days, and then the big election is the 9th, right?
That's correct, and they can find out where their particular precinct will be polling. It changes a little bit from school and city elections to our typical March and November elections.
And on election day, those voting times, I believe, are from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, correct?
That's correct.
And I know there are a couple websites and things where people can get more information should you feel you want to look at this more closely, right?
Right. WFISD.net has made it very easy for folks to see this facility as far as an architectural drawing and kind of get a sense of where it's going to be located. And so that information is out there.
All right, anything else you'd like to add?
I just hope people will understand this is good for business. This is going to help grow our economy and make this a better place. We need to vote for this.
All right, well, David, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you as well to Ashley Thomas and Mike Kurt, who were with us earlier in the show. Remember, News Channel 6 will be your election headquarters on May 9th, so stick with News Channel 6. And thanks for tuning in to Inside Texoma as we take an inside look at the WFISD Bond.